Some of y'all see your ancestors purely as a source of revenge, and it's going to hurt you in the long run.
I so agree with what the creator's saying. And I'll say that I fell into this trap initially when I was coming back into my spiritual practice via ancestral veneration and coming into Lukumi as my practice. And I think a lot of it's because, especially when you Black and brown folks in this fucked up place we call the United States, right? All we've known is violence. All we've known is revenge. All we've known is the sword, right? And so when you're coming into a practice that is usually you're coming into because you're also going away from something. Maybe it's the church. For me, it was the Catholic Church, but it was also just society telling me that there is nothing more than me being a source of labor, of working my whole goddamn life, right? Which again is also a violent act. And so we come into these traditions and we find our ancestors and we talk about and we hear our ancestors' greatest dreams and stuff. And we think, okay, well, what is my greatest dream? And if all you've ever dreamt about is revenge or all you've ever known is violence as a mechanism of being, it makes sense why you initially think that when you go to your ancestors, it's to enact revenge. When I went and started connecting with my ancestors and Orisa, it was a consistent message. Nicole, you got to love yourself. And I would get really irritated on the mat. So irritated with my Baba. I'd be like, Padrino, what are you talking about? I got folks at work coming for me. And we would do the working, right? Once. And then follow subsequent readings after. It was, okay, Nicole, now you got to do the work with you. You got to start loving yourself. And 2 years later, right, after I really started getting into that, I started to understand more what my ancestors were saying, right? This ain't about revenge. My Black folks in my line didn't go through all that shit to come back and just exact revenge when that doesn't actually do anything in the long run to help elevate the bloodline. And so when I sat more in love, but love not through a white lens, love not through a patriarchal lens, but love through an ancestral veneration lens, through an ATR lens, right? Through the lens of Blackness, I understood how powerful love as a concept and as an emotion and as a source of energy is. Love both creates and destroys, but love is what is sustainable. And love is what we are always told to move against, right? Because the power structure that we're in, which is predicated on violence, needs us in fear. So I love what this creator's saying. I just wanted to add on, like, when you come back to your ancestors, what you really are coming back to is a complete and primal source of pure love.